In a remote part of the Australian bush is a 300 metre or 1,000 foot high pile of large black granite boulders with smooth edges, known as Black Mountain and nicknamed Mountain of Death. From a distance it appears to be a single solid mass, but it isn't until you get up close that you can see. It is a pile of boulders, some of them being 6 metres or 20 feet long, and what is strange about them is there is no soil between them, just a pile of large black boulders that make a ringing sound when hit with a hammer. Some believe the boulders were placed there by ancient civilisations or even ancient aliens after conducting mining works nearby. Some believe the rocks were piled on top of something such as an alien spaceship to keep it hidden. Some think there is an entrance to an underground world and the rocks were placed to block the entrance to stop us going in and to stop them coming out. It is assumed by geologists that the mountain of boulders formed after an underground lava flow millions of years ago became exposed when the ground above eroded away, and then the solidified lava fractured in the harsh environment, and that over time the heating and cooling of the rocks due to weather caused them to fracture more so and become rounded. But this doesn't explain the deeper rocks not subjected to the heat of the sun also being round, nor explain why all the rocks have rounded edges, much like river rocks do, nor why there are no rock shards to be seen anywhere, nor why this same effect is not seen on nearby exposed lava and is only seen here, just large rounded boulders of granite sitting on top of each other, forming caves and entrances that can be walked through. As if that wasn't odd enough, there are some very strange goings on in the area, and the local Aboriginal people have taboo places at the foot of the mountain where they will not dare venture, and their ancient stories tell of evil spirits and demons that inhabit the mountain. People and entire herds of cattle have gone missing at the mountain without a trace, and those who went looking for them have also gone missing, again, without a trace. Aboriginal tales tell of banished shape-shifting witch doctor who made the mountain his abode and who would drag unsuspecting people into the caverns and devour their flesh. And there have been sightings of a large cat-like creature which is said to make the mountain its lair and which has been blamed for livestock mutilations in the area. They call it the Queensland tiger, named after the state the mountain is in. The first modern mysterious disappearance was in 1877 when a fellow named Grainer went to the mountain to retrieve a calf which had wandered into the area. Not only was he nor the calf ever seen again, his horse was also never seen again, and after extensive searching not a single trace was found of them. A robber called Sugarfoot Jack and his accomplices were chased by the police and they fled into the mountain, and that is where the police lost them, and Sugarfoot and his fellow robbers were never seen again. 13 years after, another police officer named Ryan tracked a fugitive to the mountain. He and the trackers followed the tracks to where they seemed to end abruptly, just short of a cave entrance. Ryan entered the cave to see what happened to the criminal, and that is the last anyone saw or heard of police officer Ryan. No screams for help, nothing. As if he vanished as soon as he'd entered the mountain. Those who were with him refused to also go in and see what happened to him, lest the same fate befell them. A local man lost some cattle in the area and went to retrieve them. His name was Harry Owens, and when he did not return, his business partner George Hawkins let the police know and went looking for him. When he too did not return, the police set off to the mountain to search. 2 officers entered caves to look for them, but only one came out, and when he did, he was so unhinged he could not recount what had happened, and his mind never recovered. 2 cavers decided to enter the mountain to find out what was going on. They also were never seen of again, and some of the rescuers who were sent to find them also disappeared and were never seen of again either. Sounds of moaning, of crying, of hissing can often be heard in the area. It is said it is the wind flowing through the caves and caverns within the mountain that cause it, but this is only a theory. One experienced local bushman entered the mountain armed with a pistol and carrying a torch. Of his experiences he said, and I quote, "I stepped into the opening like other Black Mountain caves. It dipped deeply downward, narrowing as it went. Suddenly I found myself facing a solid wall of rock, but to the right there was a passageway that just large enough for me to enter in a stooped position. I moved along it carefully for several yards. The floor was fairly level, the walls are very smooth granite. The passage twisted and turned this way and that, always sloping deeper into the earth. Presently I began to feel uneasy. A huge bat beat its wings against me as it passed. However, I forced myself on to push further. Soon my nostrils were filled with a sickly, musty stench. Then my torch went out. I was in total darkness. From somewhere that seemed the bowels of the earth, I could hear a faint moaning, which was then followed by the flapping of wings of thousands of bats. I began to panic as I groped and floundered back the way I thought I had come. My arms and legs were bleeding from bumps with unseen rocks. My outstretched hands clawed at space. I expected solid walls and floors, but I could not find it. At one stage where I had wandered into a side passage, I came to the brink of what was undoubtedly a precipice, judging by the echoes. The air was foul and I felt increasing dizziness. Terrifying thoughts were racing through my mind about the giant rock pythons I'd seen around the mountain. As I crawled along, getting weaker and losing hope of ever coming out alive, I saw a tiny speck of light. It gave me super strength to worm my way towards a small cave mouth half a mile from the one I had entered. Reaching the open air, I gulped in lungfuls of it and fell down exhausted. I later found that I had been underground for 5 hours, most of the time on my hands and knees. A king's ransom would not induce me to enter those caves again." End quote. Of all the people who have disappeared at the mountain over the years, only one person's body was ever recovered. He was a backpacker, and when an autopsy was done, no reason for his death could be found. It was as if he was alive one second and dead the next, for no reason. Could he have died of fright? And if so, what did he see that literally scared him to death? Is there an entrance to an underground world beneath the boulders? If so, did those who dwell in it place the boulders to keep others away? Or did some other civilization place them to stop them escaping? Are the rocks hiding an alien spaceship? And if so, are the aliens still aboard in cryotubes? Is the pile of boulders from an ancient civilization mining operations? And if so, who were they? Where did they go? And what other clues might lead us to discovering their identity? Is the mountain covering an interdimensional doorway, and what lies beyond if it does? Are the painful moans and wailing, which is often heard from the mountain, just the wind, or is it the lure of a siren song to bait unsuspecting people into the hands of whatever dwells hidden in the caves and caverns of the mountain? Are they demons, interdimensional beings, shape-shifting subterranean creatures, an as yet undiscovered species of wild felines, impossibly large pythons, otherworldly beings, or ancient aliens venturing forth from their hidden spaceship? More information is needed to unravel the mystery. I will keep you posted.